Hello, today I'm building in Forgotten Hollow for a special Halloween build because I wanted to upload something on Halloween this year and I wasn't sure if I would get around to building something quick enough and also being able to edit it. But this build came like along really naturally and quick. I had a reference picture that I'll like pull up in a little bit. I haven't built with a reference picture in a while either. So I was like, I felt a little out of my element here, but it came together really nicely. And I really like the base of it, but this is built on a 30 by 30 lot, which is one of like my favorite size lots to build on. I feel like it gives a really good amount of space. It also costs just under 70,000 simoleons. It's a 2 bedroom, I believe, 1 bathroom home. It is pretty small, but I was able to fit 2 bedrooms in. One of the bedrooms has 2 beds, so this could fit up to like a family of 4 in this house if you want it. Um, but here is what we're building today. I found this on Pinterest. I think I was looking up Halloween houses, is what I was trying to search up. I liked that there was the giant stump holding up the house and the orange leaves in the background, which I've done a treehouse one time before in The Sims. It was right around the time Growing Together came out because The Sims was introducing tree houses for the first time. I was really excited, and so I was like, I'm gonna build a tree house because I'm looking forward to having tree houses. And, like, I remember in The Sims 2 when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, like, I can build a tree house in this game, that would be so cool." And it, like, took all of my energy to try and, like, build a tree house. I think I was, like, looking it up on YouTube and stuff too. But this time, I feel like it came along really quickly, my tree house, and I'm really proud of this one. Um, I also play tested it throughout to make sure it was functional because this stump that I'm using has given me problems in many builds before of it making the house not functional. But I think it was okay because the house is above it instead of next to it because this has such a large like grid on it, and the grid makes some items like unusable if you're like placing them too much into this item's grid. But above it, it was completely fine. Like, right before I did anything, I made sure that the sim could go up these stairs, and I put down some kitchen items on top of where the stump is in the house to make sure you could use items, and it is completely functional. If there's anything that's not functional, then it was just accidentally missed when I was playtesting, because for once, I was playtesting it throughout to make sure that this could work because I really liked the idea of this build, but I wanted it to be able to be functional too, as much as it possibly could be. And so I'm really happy that it was like able to work well. I don't think I put a sim on the back porch area to see if they could walk out there. I'm guessing they can because everything else is functional. It doesn't like interfere with the stump below. But this build has a really interesting shape to it. A lot of diagonals, which can sometimes be a problem when decorating. It didn't give me that much of an issue when I was decorating on the diagonals, though. Like one of the diagonals ends up being like a desk area, another is a bedroom, and I think that's really all for the diagonals. Like, everything else is completely fine, and it didn't really give me an issue. The only thing was that the house is kind of narrow in these sections. Like, I think it's, like, 3 tiles wide for most of it, except for the base of the house, which is 4 tiles, I think it looks like. So, it was kind of like a tight squeeze to fit some items into the build. Um, like, I wanted a cauldron in this house because, like, this is a Halloween build. I want this to be for a witch. And, I put it in the kitchen, but I had to, like, move some stuff around, and I didn't even play test to see if the cauldron worked is what I'm realizing now, but, it's not on the gallery yet, so I could easily just double check, after. But I really like the stone and the color palette of this build. It's just very dark and, um Usually I don't use stone throughout an entire build like this. I feel like whenever I do, it's really hard for me to pick out windows, which you can see there where I'm like trying to find a window that works for that like tower section, but I don't know what I settle on. Oh, which window is that? Is that from, I don't even know what pack that's from. I was trying to like look in the like catalog section. I don't know what it is, but I've never used that window before. And like, okay, what is that? Is that Discover University maybe? And then I know the really large ones are the Castle States kit, but I think the other window is Discover University. That works really well with the Castle State swatches, I guess. Um, but yeah, I used werewolves for some of the roof, for the mossy roof sections. Uh, I'm like trying to see. I don't know what the other brick is that I use. It looks like it could be from Realm of Magic and the Castle Estates, but I really like the color palette. Um, this is the build that I had to change the seasons a lot because my game was like deep into fall and all of the trees were kind of like dead, and I wanted like really nice orange trees for this build, which you've like seen in the preview with like orange and purple accents for Halloween. And so I needed to change the seasons a little bit. Um, I didn't add like as many plants as I think I expected to add, mostly because I was trying to fix my game with the Grim Reaper challenges, and I've been hesitant to put my mods back in my game now that I fixed it because I don't want it to break again. But I did see that apparently they're telling you not to pause your game too soon after a loading screen because it breaks the rewards, which is so oddly specific. And I'm like, how do you figure that out? But I've been just like so scared. I haven't really been doing gameplay. Um, I'll do gameplay when the expansion pack comes out, but yeah, I've been hesitant, and so I haven't put my mods back in, which means that I didn't have better build buy for like the interior of this, or tool mod. So there might be some floating objects that aren't like perfectly placed down onto things, which I told myself, I was like, oh, I'll probably have tool mod back installed before I upload this, but I won't because I'm too scared to add it back in. But I'm going to be building with the new expansion pack, which will force me to put my mods back in my game, and so I'm just hoping that I don't have to worry about anything breaking again. The point of me going on about that was to say that with better build buy you could eye drop debug items, and because I removed it I couldn't eye drop things easily, and so I didn't go back and put in more stuff around the landscape. I think it's fine as it is. But I did want to add just like a few more pumpkins around and like a few more of like some of the purple flowers that I had, which I couldn't eye drop right away, but it ends up being okay. Like last week, I was talking about how I might put in like those rainbow fireflies into this build around the landscape, but that's debug too, and like I didn't want to have to go through the whole like typing in all the cheats, which I know console simmers have to do every time they build, but I just like I it's been so long since I typed in those long cheats for debug and live edit that I was like, it's not worth it for like sparkle effects that you could barely see. Like you'd probably barely have been able to see it in like the intro video of this to begin with, so it didn't feel important enough to go out of my way to do all of that. And I was going to use this like purpley red water for the build, but I didn't like it. Like I was like, it doesn't even like feel campy, which is what I wanted. And so I was like, I'm just gonna change this to like a different water. And like I was also struggling with like moving all of these rocks over just a tiny bit. They were moving over so much with tool mods, so I gave up with that too. But yeah, I'm glad that I changed it to the water that has like the orange leaves in it. I feel like it's not as distracting, and it like lets like all the landscape be what you first are drawn to instead of like just the shock value of the water, which I didn't think fit in very well, so I changed it. And I was going to use the usual horse ranch dirt, but I felt like just the base game dirt actually matched what was already on the lot, which is sometimes not the case, but this one had some dirt that was already kind of at the front of the lot, so I just played off of that and did a small curved path leading up to the stairs over there, and then a lot of orange pumpkins because I wanted to do a build that had a lot of orange pumpkins in it. I haven't really done that yet. That was like the pumpkins that have the planter with like the 3 hovering over, I had seen when I was doing my speed build for last week, and I was like, I need to use these in a build. And so that was like the first thing I like knew I wanted to do with this one was to lower those pumpkins into the ground that's on the sticks and like size them up and do that. So that was like, okay, I'm like, that's going to be one of the main objects that I use out here lining this little pond. And so I add them like in just different areas. I didn't overdo it too much. I think that if I still had better build buy installed, I probably would have overdone it with some of the pumpkins out here after. But I feel like it looks nice. I feel like it's framed nicely. I also put in some of those crystals after, just like one around. I was sorting by like orange and purple a lot in this build. Like the color palette is pretty similar on the interior as well. I use a lot of orange and then like little accents of purple here and there. It's not natural for me to use purple in my builds. I don't usually gravitate towards that color, but the interior feels very autumn, which I really like. I've also been loving putting the like Realm of Magic yellow orbs inside the pumpkins. It like makes it like light up so much more. And so I do that every time I have pumpkins now. And I'm in one more simmer collab that will be like about witches and stuff. So in like a few weeks I'll have another build that has all these glowing orbs around. I love those glowing orbs so much. And I know I always use the yellow one, but I see a lot of people using like the purple one, which I've used a long time ago. I say a long time ago, it was probably a year ago. I was doing like these shells for spellcasters that had like a bright white exterior with purple accents and mushrooms, and like I was just like liking doing that style a lot. And so I did that like a bunch of times, but I haven't done something like that in a while. Maybe, I don't know, sometimes I go through periods of like building where I do sort of a similar thing that's like a little bit different for me, just like over and over again. And like I feel like a lot of my builds lately have been pretty similar, mostly just because it's like fall and I'm using the same color palettes. And if I'm building every week, I always just gravitate towards the same items because when I'm building, I really like to just like build to just space out and not think for a little while. And when I'm doing that, I'm on autopilot a lot of the times. And so I'm just like, I know I like this item. This goes here. I know I like this item. And it's like, this wallpaper looks good with this wallpaper. And then I've like look back and I'm like, this is like a copy paste of my other builds, but just a different shape, which I think is okay because I know that like there's some people who have very specific styles of building and like they always use like the same exterior stuff in different shapes, and I think it's really cool. And so I'm like, I could do that too. It's completely fine. And the exterior is pretty much done now. I just add a little bit more landscaping around. And I know that this build looks like pretty intricate, but it's like actually really basic. There's not that much going on. Like I just put rectangles around. I also just raised up the foundation over a stump and like it's really just not that like I don't know, there wasn't a lot going into it. Like, if this build was on the ground, it would not look as special, but it was, like, really simple and easy to do. So if you ever wanna do, like, a house on a stump, all you gotta do is raise up the foundation a little bit and hover it over. I think that's, like, the werewolves stump, and you got the base for a little treehouse area. I did use tool mod a little bit to lower the stump into the ground because it was cutting into the build a little bit. but you could always raise up the foundation a little bit more, and it really wouldn't matter, I don't think. But now we're in the interior, and I'm trying to figure out the floor plan here and like figure out where things are gonna go. I always like having the kitchen like off of a back door, so I knew that the kitchen would have to be in the back, and then naturally like it would flow to the dining room in the front, and then again the like left side would just be the living room and office space. And I guess I do go back outside to the build for a little bit, and I add some wisteria placed around because I was like, that's purple. I feel like that would work. And it just like makes the walls feel a little bit more decorated instead of just the plain stone with some accents of green ivy around. So I'm glad I went back and did that. I feel like it definitely adds to it a little bit. And for the interior, I thought that I had used stone floors, but I guess I used the wood floors, which they look really nice anyway, the gray wood. I could have sworn that I had used the stone throughout because the ceiling, I went back in and I used, oh, okay, I do the stone. I was gonna say, I was like, I feel like I put stone ceilings after, and I was like, that would look kind of funny with the gray wood. The gray wood looked really nice with it too, though. I wouldn't have complained if I kept it as that. And I do have a tower, which I think I forget to record. Um, but I did put some decorations in there. Really not a lot. It was just like a couple barrels and like a pumpkin and a wooden sign. It's pretty much like a storage tower. Not really anything much going on up there. But I'm pretty sure I forgot to record it somehow. I don't know when I decorated that. There is like one problem with the floor plan of this build, and it's that I feel like the bathroom downstairs is like a little bit too far away from the bedrooms. And like, I know realistically, so you walk down the stairs and then you turn right into the living room, and the bathroom is off the living room, but it still feels like it's like too far away for some reason. And I think maybe it is, but I couldn't fit a bathroom up here. I wanted at least 2 bedrooms, so I couldn't do another bathroom upstairs, and so the bathroom just had to be a little bit, far away, which might be scary to get to in the middle of the night. I feel like that's always what I think of when I'm, like, doing my Sims houses is, like, how scary it would be to travel to the bathroom at night, and it's like, I don't know, like, how many people actually wake up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. I know I don't, and, like, the bathroom's right across from my bedroom door, so it's like I don't have to go very far, but I do get scared just, like, leaving my room if I'm up, like, late at night and everyone's already asleep. Um, I don't like looking either, like, right or left, because I'm like, there might be a ghost watching me, and I don't wanna see it, so I'm like, dart right to the bathroom. So I would not survive in a house like this where I have to walk through a hallway from my bedroom door, down a set of like stone stairs with large windows too that looks out into like this dark, scary world. Down the stairs to the front door. It's like, is the front door locked? And then you have to turn through an archway into a living room and like study area to get to the bathroom door. It feels like an entire journey. Would not recommend, I guess. But this is the kitchen area, where I have the large cauldron, and I ended up settling on just a wooden bench over here. I was trying to see if I could like get a potion shelf in here like with the bookcases, but the wooden swatches I didn't think looked good with the cabinets I picked out, and I just didn't. I was like, no, this isn't working. So I'm just going to try and find something else. And I was gonna put like a ottoman or something over there, but I liked the like log bench, so I put that over there, which I also use again outside in the back like porch area too. I love the kitchen in this build though. It feels so cozy, and it is because it is very small in there. I do feel like I play tested something in here. Normally, like before I do anything, I usually play test the kitchen specifically. The other rooms, not so much, but like for the most part, I'm like I remember to playtest the kitchen because the kitchen is like I feel like the most annoying if you download and it doesn't work. And I know that because the times my kitchens don't work, it's usually like an annoying problem that takes me a long time to try to figure out and fix. And if you're not the one building it, you might not like consider certain items, like especially like on the exterior, there will be items that sometimes interfere with the interior, which I don't think would be the case for this build at all because everything is below the build and the stump is like not interfering with anything, which I'm so happy about, which means that if I ever want to do a treehouse again, I know that I can use that stump and it's not going to be a problem because the first time it was a problem. This time though, there was no issues and I was smart and I was playtesting throughout. Um and yeah, I was so proud of myself in this build because I remembered a trash can in the kitchen and then I immediately put pumpkins in front of it. And then I was like, okay, Megan, you're so proud of that. You need to put a trash can over here and like I guess like the mudroom area where you go out the back porch. Feel like my celebration is has to be over because I'm almost certain that I didn't add another trash can outside where your Sims can dump the garbage from the mini trash can inside of your house. Yeah, I definitely did not add one of those. Which I don't ever like I don't know, I don't ever add that to a build and like I'm assuming that when people download stuff from the gallery it like that's probably a common problem because I've heard like a lot of people just forget basic items like that in their houses. Um, but I don't think I go completely up to this upstairs yet. I believe I just pick out a bed and then I go back down and I like do the living room and office area of the build, which I really like. But you'd like be surprised of like it's so tiny upstairs, but being able to fit 3 beds up there, I feel like is a win. And that's probably because I have that weird bathroom situation with the long, scary hallway that I'd be too scared to live in. But I'd probably be too scared to live in this treehouse regardless. It's in Forgotten Hollow, which is a scary world anyway. Um, Being so high up, you could just see everything. There's like barely any curtains on the windows. But this is like a little seating area over here because I didn't really know what to do with the nook. I realized that could have been a nice bathroom. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I didn't put a bathroom there because like the doorway would have been like oddly placed, but I feel like I actually know I could have. I could have easily put the doorway over there and had a bathtub. It probably wouldn't have had a shower because I wouldn't want the shower to block the window. And then you could easily fit in a sink and a toilet. But this is The Sims, it doesn't matter. But that could have been a good place for a bathroom. I just didn't really consider that. Um, when I was doing the floor plan. I don't know what I was thinking that area was going to be. Maybe I was just going to put the archways leading into the dining room and the kitchen over there and then I didn't. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But I love the table in the dining room. It feels very autumn. I'm using like different like um wooden and like I don't know, fall colored items. Like I really like the burgundy vase on that plant. My brain is just barely working today. This is like the second day I'm doing the voiceover and I woke up and like I'm just like feeling a little like coffee. Well, like not coffee, but like coughing. Um while I'm drinking my coffee. And so like sometimes when I'm doing the voiceover, I'm like thinking about how I need to clear my throat. And then I'm like, "But just finish your sentence," and then my, like, brain won't let me because my brain is like, "You need to cough, and you need to cough right now." But yeah, the dining room is very tiny. I believe that your Sims can walk around everything. I put some of the, like, wine racks in there because I thought that it just, like, fit in perfectly, and I feel like I didn't know what else to add over there, so I was like, "Oh, great, I could just fit these tiny wine racks in." Put some bottles of nectar up there that is from the Cozy Bistro kit, and then like create a dining room that I really like, which might be my favorite part of the build is the dining room. And I mean the kitchen too is I like both of those areas. I feel like I really like this build because then I was gonna say I really like how the living room is decorated, which like isn't always common for me to like so many areas of a build, but the build is pretty small, so it's like I don't know, they all one after the other. It wasn't that much effort to decorate, and I really loved the exterior of it. It felt very like magical, whimsical, and like not completely different from what I usually build, but like a little bit more like elevated. Like I feel like it's more creative than like my builds have been lately, which I'm like proud and happy to see. And I think it's just like all the autumn colors throughout the build that makes me like it so much. It's just like it looks like nice to look at, and I'm using items that like I'm like, oh, this is kind of like cool here, like that cats and dogs painting that I was like, oh, I never used this, but I feel like it works really nicely in this area with like the blues complementing some of the orange and yellows in the room. It like it just tied the room together. And over here is just a small desk area. I put a bookcase like almost built into the desk because I was like, oh, I can't really fit a bookcase behind it without blocking the really beautiful window. And so I like think I used the one from the Book Nook kit. Yeah, that one's just so good. Like, even if it doesn't like I know like a lot of my builds, it looks like it's like full of antique furniture and stuff, and like the Book Nook kit does not give that vibe, but it like blends in really well with like all the other pieces, I think. I mean, like some people might think it looks horrible and out of place, but I think it looks like really nice because it's just like the perfect swatches in that kit, and it goes with pretty much anything. You could change like the swatches of the books a little bit, and I think it just like really works with any build style. Like that's a kit where I was like, yeah, it like doesn't need to be in one specific build. I could put this like bookcase literally anywhere. And then I just add some more paintings around to fill up some space. And now I think we're finally doing the upstairs, which isn't very long because it is just two bedrooms and you can't fit a lot of furniture in here. And I do remember playtesting up here to make sure the bed and stuff worked because I put a like ottoman bench at the end of the bed that I really loved, and I was like, I don't want to move this. I really want this here. But I was following the half tile rule, where if you have half of a tile, your sim can walk by, which I learned at my friend Vicky's stream. And so I'm like, okay, this should work, but sometimes you don't know. Sometimes the Sims is like, no, the half a tile is not actually half a tile. You put it a little bit too far into that tile, so now none of the room is going to work. Which just happened to me pretty often. But like I was surprised I was able to even fit a dresser and stuff in this room. I mean, like I could only fit one side table in. I probably could have fit another one if I pushed the bed over a little bit because you could see it's not completely on the like grid where it could go. I put it more centered in the room to be like lined up with the window across from it. So I didn't like have it against almost like the tile of the wall where I could fit the two end tables, which isn't even important anyway. It's really just for show. And another little like gallery wall up here. I feel like I have like some really fancy paintings in here, which sometimes like I feel like doesn't work because that like right in front of that like really expensive painting, I put a Halloween like trick-or-treating bowl that's like looks like it's like $2. And I'm like, yeah, this is how my Sims are decorating their house. And like the beds in here, I kind of just like kept them as both the same swatch, which I don't normally do. I usually like to have the beds with different comforters and stuff on it, but I like that bed is one of my favorite beds, but it's really hard to find like more than one swatch that's like that wood tone with like different bedding, which is like really unfortunate. And one of the things I loved about The Sims 2 was that you can like change the wood of the bed and you could change the comforter. So you could have like a bunch of different possibilities of like how you want to decorate. Where The Sims 4, you're limited to the certain swatches. And like I don't know how complicated it is to like have like the options like that, but I really wish that that was in the game. And I wish that they would like implement that in the game. I feel like that would just like make decorating and like give use out of so many more objects than like we kind of have currently. But yeah, the bedroom is pretty much like done being furnished. I had a desk that I like put in with like bookcases because it was like a weird corner. It is on a diagonal, so like there's empty space behind that, but I feel like it looks good from inside the room because you can't really tell that anyway. So it's like, oh, that's like perfect, and I made it almost like a little vanity area. I believe that's like a jewelry case box from the Crystal Creations stuff pack. I'm also so happy that I was able to post a second video this week and just like have another video of just like chatting for a little while. And if you're watching this on Halloween, I hope that you have a nice Halloween, like whatever way you like to spend it. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing for Halloween. I was originally going to do a Twitch stream, but I was like, I figured that most of my friends have plans on Halloween. So I'm like, I'll just like not stream on Halloween, but I'll probably just play some cozy games. I say cozy games. I'm probably going to play Dead by Daylight, which I haven't been playing that much lately because I've been like having a headache at night. And so I haven't really been like wanting to like put a whole lot of focus on like killer matches, which takes like so much effort. And so I was like, I don't want to think, I can't play this, but yeah, that's the whole build. The tower literally, oh wait, I did show the tower, I guess. I thought that I scammed everyone out of seeing the tower, but I feel like I remember seeing the barrels and stuff. But this is all the screenshots of the build. Some of it's like weirdly taken, but in my head when I take pictures, I'm like, I'm gonna crop this anyway for Instagram. So a lot of this empty space is necessary because it's gonna be cropped. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll have a video up on Monday, which will be my first ever like EA creator like given code for the new expansion pack, which I'm really excited to share, and I'm really excited to give my thoughts on the new expansion pack and stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.